I am so happy I'm having my first 0 day in what seems like forever. A 0 day is just a day of no obligations. I don't feel like I'm on a clock trying to accomplish anything. I need that bad. I just spent a whole week in Boston, the longest I've spent there in, I don't know, probably a couple of years. And it was a whirlwind. Today, I'm making a grand return to my favorite place, Lake Denison in Central Mass. I'm actually staying at a campground called Otter River, which is like attached to the southern side of it. And I stopped at the Market Basket in Athol, my favorite place to do food shopping. I always got the best prices here, and they have some cool stuff. So I'm gonna stock up. Let's see what they got, and if I have time tonight, I might do some other cool modifications back here in the van. Let's see how it goes. There's a giant raptor flying around here at the Market Basket. I think it might be a juvenile bald eagle. It's kind of a cool sign. It makes this awful screaming sound. I don't know if you just heard that right there. One great thing I love about this Market Basket, they have these $4 rotisserie chickens. I don't know how they make a profit off that. They're so good. I'm tempted to get one, but it would be cold by the time I eat it for dinner tonight. So not sure it's worth it. My main reason for coming here, though, is the vegetables. Look at this fresh asparagus, and it's nice and thick. The fresh vegetables at this Market Basket cost the same as frozen vegetables I find at, like, Price Chopper. So I got what must be 5 pounds of Brussels sprouts here. They also have diced onions. The onions is the only frozen stuff I got here. I normally get all frozen food. Just didn't feel like doing that today. This ended up being the most expensive thing right here. It's 3.5 pounds of Brussels sprouts, the big kind. I also got my banana for the rice. As for the meats, let me just grab some veggies. They have these ham steaks, which are only $3 each. Vacuum sealed, already cooked. I will use those at a future date. I got fresh Angus grilled steaks that I'm gonna cook up. And I got these big chicken thighs, none of it frozen. I realized buying fresh meat might be kind of stupid because I'm not gonna eat it all tonight. I'm gonna cook it and then like freeze it. But I don't know, I felt like doing that today. The Market Basket in Athol, I love this place. I'm staying at Otter River Campground, not Lake Denison. It was fully booked. There was actually only one site left, which is what I got. That's usually not a good thing. We'll see. Here we go. Otter River Campground. Like I said, this was the last available site. And it does not look very scenic at all. It's right next to the bathrooms and kind of like totally exposed, but I'll take it. Site number 49, Otter Creek State Forest Campground. I can see why it's the last one. I have no privacy here. There are people on every side of me. You know, if I were in a tent, that would really bother me, but I'm in a van. I can just bunk out in there at night. That's not a problem. I thought I'd do a little walk-around tour of this campground because it is rather nice. Right behind my van is the pond. You can actually swim here. They have a nice beach, but I think it is closed right now. They're having some of that bacterial infection that they seem to get every year. Apparently this is the international flag for no swimming. Now you know. It is a nice pond though. They truck in beach sand right here. I have swam in it once or twice. Very cozy. They have kind of a nice pavilion over at the other side. You know, I'd love to like do some sort of like van meetup function at a campground like this. I just need to figure out the logistics of that. So there's a nice creek and a walk over here. I'll show you some of the nicer campsites. Much nicer than the one I got right now. This right here is Otter Creek, the main river that runs through the campground. Very nice. They put some raised beds right here, but it looks to be just some flowers, barely maintained. A nice little spot to watch the sunset though. I might do that tonight. There is a trail to Lake Denison. I'll take you to that. I don't think I'm gonna walk it tonight because I got here a little on the late side, did some stuff today. And this place is actually a little bit nicer than Lake Denison. The campground aspect of it, these ones over here in the shade are so nice. Right next to the pond is the day use area where you can come have a swim, do a picnic. I like this spot right here, number one, because it's right next to the parking lot. This would be a great place for me to do a meal prep. Although I am gonna enjoy cooking over a campfire tonight and not use my burners. This right here is probably the best place to get a campground. You're right next to the creek that you can go and play in if you're a little kid or a grown kid like I am. And there's some other nice campgrounds over on this side. Nestled in this grove of pine trees. I've stayed in this one over here. Sites 28 through 34, those are the ones you want to get. They're real nice, in the shade, right next to the creek. There's a bunch of campers here that all have the same tent. Like 30 of the campers. I wonder if it's just a really popular model of tent or there's some kind of group thing going on tonight. Now, these spaces over here next to the creek are still open. These are probably the best ones here. When I booked this reservation, it said that none of these were available. So someone better show up, you know. Otherwise, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm in the worst possible spot. Look at this one right here. What site number is this? This is gorgeous. Site number GC. I'm not sure what that means. General camping, maybe. But this is right next to a little ledge and a bend in the river. I have a feeling those are for groups only, some kind of special way to reserve those spots. That's why I didn't have access to them through recreation.gov or whatever that site is that I use. Yeah, I like this spot a lot. I think over here is actually where the showers are. I stayed right here once at site number 33. This is a cool one too because you're on a little plateau, kinda. That right there is the trail to Lake Denison, 2 miles. I'm not gonna walk it tonight. I've been there before. And when I wanna go back, I do wanna go back there and kayak around it. I need to book a Lake Denison site well in advance though, especially for a Saturday night. That place fills up fast. This place is cool too though, Otter Creek, I think it's called. You're kind of right on top of each other, but there's more shade. I think now I want to get started on all my cooking. I kind of want to do that at a leisurely pace. I'm proud of this fire. No lighter fluids, no little starter kits or anything, just straight up wood and kindling and one of the Market Basket paper bags. And yeah, it's going healthy. The only thing about this camp stove I notice is, this is like really low. I can only put like 2 logs high at a time. It's gonna cook well. I got stuff on the table ready to get going. I'll show you what I'm doing over there. Those of you that have seen me cook before probably know my favorite ingredients by now. I do a whole bunch of brown rice, which is my main filler. I might use up this entire bag for this session tonight, but for now we'll start with that. And the only thing I put in the brown rice is a banana. I don't put the peel in. By the way, did you know you don't peel the banana from the stem end? The monkeys, they peel from this end. You just pinch one little seam and then it kind of peels. It's a lot easier than the stem end. So I just throw a whole banana in there. It'll get chopped up like as I stir it and stuff. I don't add salt or anything. I swear by this flavor combination. It comes out like creamy and rich and stuff. As for the meat I'm gonna cook first, I'm cooking those breasts, those chicken breasts. These things are just like so thick, you know. You have to cook them for a long time, so I like to get them started right away. The only seasoning I'm gonna put on them is that Korean gochugaru stuff that, like I said, my mother gave me. She's probably watching this right now. She loves that I'm using it. It's good stuff. Let me just get this in there. This stuff, it's called gochugaru style Korean. I'm pretty sure it's just a Korean barbecue rub. I'm just gonna put it on everything. I'm gonna use it until I get sick of it. That's how I do things. I touch bottom with stuff, you know? The only veggie I'm gonna be throwing in with the chicken breast is this diced onions. I got like 8 packs of this stuff. Those chicken breasts are gonna take forever to cook. That's the annoying thing with those things. So while I'm waiting for that pan to free up, I thought I would chop up some of these fresh vegetables. Yeah, it's so much fun to have fresh vegetables. And when you get the fresh Brussels sprouts, they're like 3 times the size of the regular ones. So I chop these into like thirds just to make them edible. While I was walking around the campground earlier, I saw a lot of cool rigs. Some guy in one of those old Westphalia vans over there. Another camper with a cool awning that was very simple. That's the next thing I want to get, an awning that attaches to my roof rack. I thought about manufacturing my own, but that might just be like a big waste of time. I know that I don't want to get an electric powered awning. I run into 2 different people, both in Sprinters with these rigs that they bought with these electronically controlled awnings, and both of them said the same thing, that they constantly break, and one of them hasn't used his awning in like over a year because he's sick of getting it fixed, which like defeats the purpose, you know? So I don't want an electronic thing. I want something just simple and mechanical. You pull out and set it up. I don't know, if anyone has any recommendations on something like that, let me know in the comments. Just a nice, simple awning. Doesn't have to be huge. Just no electronics to it whatsoever, you know? I also need a bug screen. I think there is... I saw bug screens for a ProMaster on Reddit or some website. I haven't seen any that fit my Ford Transit. Maybe I just did not look hard enough. So that's another thing I could use recommendations for. An awning and a bug screen that fit a 2021 Ford Transit. If you got any recommendations, let me know. I think the rice is just about done. It got dark quickly. I'm working against the light already, but I have 4 bags all ready to go. The next thing I was gonna throw in was those, what is it? Certified Angus steaks. These look really good. Hopefully these don't cook as long as those chicken breasts do. They took like an hour. They were 2 inches thick. That's the one thing I don't like about cooking chicken breasts. But I do notice that with campground fires, you can get a hotter fire than you can from the little propane ones. I guess I've just learned a lot about the temperature differences of different chemicals and stuff. Propane fires just don't get hot enough unless you cut the chicken breast in half. All right, I'm just blabbing. I'm not sure how much more I can record because it is so dark right now. I'll try to get a whole bunch of stuff done and show you guys the final results. I try to record more of that out there tonight, but it just got too dark. You know, I got these side amber lights that shoot off to the side for occasions like this, but when I'm at a campground where we're all on top of each other, it's too much light. It just lights up the people around me. And I find it hard to record in the dark, but I got everything cooked, probably too much food. I've been doing that lately, just buying way too much. I am saving 1 hot meal for tonight. A chicken breast, a nice hot meal for tonight's dinner, and I got, I think, 9 more days of food, 9 more dinners out of that. So a very productive session. Nonetheless, I would love to take a shower, but this campground, the shower is so far away. This is the worst site. Otter Creek, don't get number 49 if you ever come here. Anyway, I'm gonna retire for the evening. Tomorrow, I think I'm gonna do some hikes in the area, see something cool. I'll take you along for that ride. For now, though, I'm calling it a night. Oh yeah, get that in there. Yeah, I had a great night here. Site number 49 at Otter Creek, Otter River, Otter something in Templeton, Massachusetts. I mean, I mostly came to get all that cooking done, take advantage of the campfire, which I did. Not gonna stick around this morning though. The only amenity I'm gonna be taking advantage of on the way out is the dumpster. On the way to Dunkin' Donuts. That's my impression of the Dunkin' Donuts sound. So I drove about 20 minutes north. Today's first hike is at Rhododendron State Park, right over the state line in New Hampshire. I love this place. This is where I came in my first video. This is where I made the decision whether or not to renew my lease or move full-time into the van. So this park has special, nostalgic, meaning to me. It's also just a really cool geographic feature. It's where these rhododendrons have taken over the woods, the only thing that grows. They peak bloom in mid-July. I think I may have just missed it. It was last weekend. But still, I'm going to walk around, give you guys a tour. When you enter this park, there's this wall of rhododendrons. On one side, there's nothing but rhododendrons. On the other, it's just like a regular pine forest. It's very weird. I actually asked the park ranger working there, how these rhododendrons got here. She said they are not an invasive species. This was all a natural growth. And thankfully, it looks like a bunch of them are still in bloom. They are kind of this white pinkish color. Very enchanting. And they do have a slight smell to them. But you see what I mean about enchanting? It forms like this wall, this promenade that you can walk through. Like I said, my very first video, I came here on the day I had to decide whether or not to renew my lease for another year, or to really do my whole van life project, and literally move into a van. I was so scared. It took me a lot, Sorry, I had to step away and organize my thoughts there for a second. There's a lot of nostalgia associated with this place for me. Also reminds me of an ex-girlfriend who lived nearby. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm just gonna be alone with my thoughts once again. Suddenly, I just feel like being inside my own head. Happens when I come here. I think I could use a little bit of that. Had a beautiful time in Rhododendron State Park. I ended up hiking to the top of Little Monadnock, that mountain that's attached to the trail system there. Got back to the van just in time. Look at this. Got to a gas station. It's absolutely pouring. This just started like 1 minute ago. I've never seen so much rain at once. I don't like driving when it's like this. The visibility is just awful, so I'm gonna try to wait it out for a little. I'm in Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire right now. The rain managed to clear in time for one more hike today. Since I'm in the area, I thought I'd come to Royalston, one of my favorite places on earth. There is a waterfall here called Spirit Falls, more like a long cascade that trickles down the edge of a ridge for like a mile. It's a beautiful hike. It's at the Jacobs Hill trailhead over here. Every time I've come here, I've been the only person here. It must not be that well known of a hike. I actually slept there once. I hear running water. I think this creek is the start of Spirit Falls. I'm gonna follow it downstream for a little ways. The beautiful Spirit Falls. I definitely feel spiritual here, like I do at no other waterfall. Maybe because I'm always alone when I come here. You can just keep going further and further and further down the waterfall, all the way to the bottom of this steep ravine. I think this is the furthest I'm gonna get right here. This is where there's the biggest single drop. I'm not going all the way to the bottom though. I want to go to a ledge, the Tully Ledges here, if I still have time, and try to catch a sunset over this beautiful gorge over here. Ladies and gentlemen, the ledges of Jacobs Hill in Royalston, Mass. Look at this view. This is the Tully River down here. It carves this beautiful gorge, this extremely remote part of Massachusetts. That right there is Tully Mountain. Get my finger out of the shot. You can hike up to the top of that. I've done that. Further in the distance, a camel hump shaped thing. That looks like Wachusett, but that's actually Mount Grace. This is looking west. And if I could get it out in the ledge more, you could see Mount Monadnock, but I'm not gonna go out that far. Instead, I'm gonna fly my drone and try to capture some of this beautiful light. I love this spot. I love these ledges. I love the view from here, the Tully River. This valley it's gotta be one of the most remote places in Massachusetts, coincidentally, in terms of like distance from a road or any signs of civilization. I don't see a single building in any direction here. I would love to bring my kayak down on that river down there. I gotta get Moby Dick out of storage. Right now, the sky is just beautiful. There's great cloud formations, especially down in the south, but I don't want to be on this ledge after dark. I've done that before. It's kind of a hike back. It's a schlep, and this trail has a way of just disappearing in the dark. I did bring a headlamp in case I need it. You guys hear that? Yeah, some owls out here. They creep me the hell out. I'm gonna try to make it back to my car without turning my headlamp on. I still have about 3 miles to go. Hopefully the moon comes out and I have some twilight. I just like to exercise my eyes, because the moment I turn my headlamp on, my night vision is shot. There's an open bog, marshy area that I remember passing. I just have to be super careful about all the rocks on this path, but thankfully I'm getting a little bit of light. I think I just have a half mile to go. Ooh. Whew, yeah, an open area. These power lines, I remember crossing underneath them. I am so sweaty. I've been bitten by more insects than I know the species of. But I am not going to stay here tonight, even though I could. I told you I've slept at this trailhead before. I'm going to drive towards Boston. Yep. Another work week, another grind week, and it is like a 2-hour drive from here. Not a big fan of driving in the dark. I'm probably going to take a shower when I get there. Hopefully I have no problem, finding a place to sleep. By the way, compare my backup camera from my Autobox that I just installed with the Ford one. This one is so much better. I am back in Boston. I escaped for only one night, So I'm probably gonna be here all week. I just have like all these obligations in the city all of a sudden. It's important to have a 0 day though, like Saturday, yesterday for me, a day where you wake up, no one's expecting you to be someplace. You're not on anyone's clock. You have no obligation. All your stuff is done. Every once in a while, I get a day like that, and it just feels fantastic. I think if you're living in a van, a day like that is a great day to go to a campground. Campgrounds are a nice treat, You have all your amenities, and you can sleep in your van. I should have refilled my water while I was at that campground. Completely forgot about that, because I want to take a shower, but I'm running critically low on water. Oh well, I'll just have to go back to a campground, maybe this weekend, maybe Lake Denison, maybe somewhere else. But alas, the weekend is over. Gotta grind through another week. Thanks for coming along for this ride. Central Mass, the Ledges, Royalston, all of those areas, whatever this was. Thanks for watching as always. Peace out.